Hi guys, how are you? I am back. I am finally recovered from COVID. I'll tell you, I laid in the bed for about 6 or 8 weeks. Really couldn't do very much, and there were a couple of people who really gave me some laughs, and I enjoyed their channels, and I will tell you who they are. If you're not following them, you might want to. One is Virginia's Daughter. Her channel's named Virginia's Daughter. She is such a hoot. She is in the process of going through several of her things that just have been put aside, her works in progress, and she's completing them. Very good. Viv Mom Sews was another very good one. Tea and Crumpets. I'm telling you, there's just so many. I'll try to find them and put them in here, but just really want to give them a shout out on my channel. If you like quilting, Podunk Pretties is really good. But I'm going to show you a little of my sewing room today because I love it. I was always the one who was sitting in the corner of the dining room or any little corner I could find in the living room sewing on my kitchen table, whatever. But my husband built me a beautiful sewing shop on top of an old dog run that we had. And I love it, and I'm going to share it with you. And then, if you own a Moxie, I've got 2 things for you really want to know. I promise you, one's going to save you some time and energy. The other one is going to help you make better stitches. Stay tuned. Okay guys, this is my sewing shop, and you will see that it has windows. I don't have them open, sorry. Windows. This is the first time I've really been down here since I came down with COVID on January the 10th. I walked down here a couple of times, but I didn't have the energy to really do anything. But I'm one of those neat freaks. When I finish a project, it's usually put up. I don't have like a lot of stuff. Now, if I'm in the middle of a project, my sewing room's a mess. But once it's finished, I put everything up. And this is how I left my sewing room when I walked out. That's a block that I'm going to be teaching on the channel. It's called the butter churn block. I'm going to try to get back to once a week block live, so that a block demonstration, so you can see that if you enjoy quilting. That's my little quilt wall. My Juki, I'm a Juki junkie. My old Bernina serger, that serger is probably 34 years old. And I've never even had it serviced, don't tell it. I just oil it and keep it cleaned out. I paint, so occasionally I paint and draw. And this is like, that's a horse I want to paint when I get around to it. I'm a collector of old machines. I'm going to sit that up. I did order that while I was laying in the bed. And these are my January makes. But I never even got them completely finished due to catching COVID. This is another machine that I have, older Bernina QE. The first machine I ever bought myself was a Bernina, so I'm kind of, I love Berninas and Jukis. I owned a sewing business, and those were some of the machines I used in there that I really liked. This is my Moxie Longarm. If you are a Moxie owner, this is the batting, I don't know what to call it. It's a batting holder, and it's not made for the Moxie, but I clipped it to the ends in order to hold my batting so it wouldn't hit the floor. I don't like things hitting the floor. That's why I'm probably making y'all sick, I'm sorry. That's why I have such an extensive amount of tables around my sewing machine. I do not like to have things hit the floor when I'm working on them. And those are some monthly subscription boxes I'm going to put live stuff on as well. But when my husband built this for me, he said, well, what do you want? And I kind of told him he was going to make a screened-in porch. And I saw it, and I was like, no, I want a sewing room. So I have a huge closet here. And this is my try-on mirror, so I can see what I'm doing. I'm a lover of anything sewing, okay? So I've got threads. This is my granddaughter's quilt that she's gonna have for her wedding. Some of my backgrounds, I use Bella Solids 200 for almost all my backgrounds. Not the one ready for dye, the other one. Some of the fabrics that I have. I have a pretty good collection here. Those were from my sewing shop up there. That green was the first viscose I ever got a hold to, and I love it, and I still haven't made it up. Each one of these baskets down here represents a quilt I'm going to make. I already have the pattern, the quilt, and then up top, our fat quarters are less. I'll say it's less than a half a yard of different colors. And I kind of keep them bend kind of similar together so that I can get to them if I'm making scrappy projects. This is some fabric I maybe have received in a subscription box or something. I don't like it. And so I'll be doing a giveaway on that. I am a big Dream Quilter batting person, and so I keep plenty of batting. More quilts I'm going to do. This is my personal fabric stash for my clothes. And I may or may not have 2 more packages coming in. So, and these are just scrap fabrics, but my husband, when he put this room together, he was like, what are you going to do with all this? And now he just shakes his head because he said, I didn't know you had all that fabric. See, this is my backing fabrics. If I find a really good fabric, like this is a 45 wide, but it was really inexpensive, and I bought that to go on a backing. That's an old sheet that I found, a vintage sheet that's really pretty. And okay, we're at the Moxie, and I have loaded a little scrap piece of fabric. Actually, some of that fabric I said I didn't like. And I'm going to show you something you need to check on your Moxie. Don't get your panties in a wad. If this is the case, all you have to do is contact Handiquilter, and they'll send you another one. But look here. Do you see this? When this was put on, it was tightened down too much and it cracked it. So I contacted Handiquilter, and they sent me one. Well, I actually contacted the person that I purchased it from, and they sent me one right out, overnighted it. Basically, it was here just real shortly. So if you have that, you can contact Handiquilter if you have that issue. They're aware of it. And they were really good about it. I have my new one, but I'm just letting this one go until it cracks, and then I'll put the other one on. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, all right. The second thing you want to be aware of is your tracks right here. Okay, now I do have the 2-foot extension in mine. I have it 120 inches wide, but be aware of these tracks. There are screws on both sides. See these screws? They're on both sides. All right. Now, I'm going to put you... All right, I hope you can see this. This is in reference to your, the screws we talked about, the tracks. I showed them to you so that you would know what I was discussing. But if you just got your Moxie and you've tried to stitch with it, and if you were like me and I did all kind of feathers, learning how to feather, and then when I got on it, this is how it's stitched. I would go down and try to do a loop. Okay, so I try to do a loop like that. Come back out and try to get that rounded bottom to it, okay? Now forgive me, I'm not doing great, but I try to make a circle, and this is how it would come out instead of like a circle. Hold on, I'll show you. it would come out flat like this. And then I'm trying to make it go like a circle around, and instead of going a circle, it would go like this. You know, it was flat. It wasn't like a circle. So I kept thinking it was me doing it. I thought it was my lack of skill and I had to practice. So, and I had drawn feathers from here to the other side of the US, I think. And I had my feathers down pretty good, and I just could not understand why when I would come around here, I would get a circle. I mean, a flat space instead of a circle. My circles basically looked flat, almost like the first one did, not the second one. Okay, there are two things that could be bothering you. One is, I don't know if you can see it, but right here, when you are sewing, when you're stitching this take-up bar, you want these to be up. Don't have them down, because when the machine comes across, it can snag on one of them. So make sure you have these dots up, okay? Then, if that doesn't fix it, then I want you to come back to, let me take this up. Hold on, I'm gonna take this out. I want you to come back, and all of these screws right here, I want you to, this is gonna sound crazy, but unscrew them and then screw them back in. Don't tighten them down with some mechanical, you know, electric screwdriver. Just hand tighten them down tight, but not too tight. You know what I'm saying? And then do it on this too. Do it on this. Now these are from underneath, so you have to do it from underneath, but do it on both sides of these tracks and do all of these. Oh my gosh, Marty, that sounds ridiculous. Well, I think, and you know, my husband helped me put mine together. I think, and when the repairman comes out to fix it, that's what he's gonna do. He's going to unscrew the tracks, screw the screws back on. Because I think when we first put it together, we don't realize that we need to, let me find that needle, give it some grace and not be so hard on it. And sure enough, when I unscrewed my tracks and screwed them back down, and it was no fun, my machine works perfect. So here we go, okay? So I can like stem, and I don't make it the same so that it's just easier because I'm still learning. But again, I go and make the first feather, the second feather, and you can either do bump backs or you can just do each feather individually. Bump backs take a little more practice. I'll show you what I mean. Like if I do that and bump back, And like I said, I have hardly practiced this at all on the machine, but I just was having no luck, and that's what the fix was. So again, you can let's see if you want to make a circle, do it. Okay, so I hope that helps you guys. I know it was a little wacky the way I had to do it, but I wanted you to be able to see what I was talking about, because those were two fixes that were like driving me nuts. And Handiquilter made the first one really easy, and then when I found out about the tracks, it fixed the other issue. So, and I'll show you this if I can. And if you want to know how I hold my pins, I took a cookie sheet, I hot glued 2 curtain irons on it, curtain rods on it, you see there. I have a magnetized dish that holds my pins, and that way they don't fall off. And then I have this if I have threads, extra threads I need to get. But you can make that yourself for just a couple of dollars, and I think you can get those magnetic dishes at any hardware store. You can get them on Amazon, but they're fabulous. This was for nuts and screws, like in a mechanics section. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys, and I'll be back with another Moxie tutorial soon.